Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go through our IVF experience from egg retrieval in a freeze-all cycle from start to finish. We decided to freeze all of our embryos to go through PGS or pre-implementation genetic screening. First of all, I'll get into the why of IVF. Last year we did, before all that, yes, I had straight hair. Isn't it crazy? Straight. But it's so different to me, and I thought I'd film a video before it blows up, which it already is kind of doing. So let's get that the elephant out of the room. And let me show you my shirt. It says mother of, am I tall enough? Mother of embryos. So that should kind of tell you how our IVF cycle went. It was successful. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, might as well give me a follow over there. I'm very active there. I post all my updates there first, so I let you know what's going on. Tell you everything from how long it took from the initial conversation with our doctor all the way up until egg retrieval. And I will give you a little bit of the timeline for our frozen transfer cycle that's currently ongoing right now. So we have to throw it all the way back to what's been going on with me this year. You know, I had a molar pregnancy with a DNC in March. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's also on my channel. So that happens in March. I had the DNC March 22nd, and then they had to follow my HCG weekly until it was negative. And then once it hit negative for 3 weeks, and then 6 monthly negatives after. And currently this is my 5th monthly negative here in October, and last monthly negative because my transfer will happen before I can do another monthly negative. But yeah, so all that to say, I didn't hit negative until that 5/15. So May 15th is when we had the first conversation with my doctor, but she also suggested I go ahead and get a saline sonogram or an SHG. Got done on 5/29. On June 7th, Doug had to go in and get all his labs, his blood work done for carrier screening. And on June 12th, we actually sat down and signed the consents to say, yes, we're gonna go ahead with IVF. This is what we wanna do with our embryos in case one of us dies, in case one of us is mentally incapacitated, all that stuff. So we did all that. I came back in my carrier screening as a carrier for alpha thalassemia. If you're familiar with any type of anemia, beta thalassemia is a form of that is sickle cell. I'm not a carrier for that, and neither is Doug. Doug's not a carrier for anything, but for some reason I came back as a carrier of alpha thalassemia, which was interesting. So we had to do that and get a genetics consult, and that happened on July 5th. On July 10th, we sent off the authorization, and they were authorized on July 24th, so then I could order my meds. And then we had to pay the clinic nearly $6,000 on July 25th. Then we got our meds ordered on July 31st, and we paid about $3,500 for the initial round of meds. And then the meds arrived on August 1st, and then we can get into the IVF cycle. Did Gonal-F 150 IUs. I had the pen in the morning, and then at night I did 225, and we started that on August 7th. So that was my cycle day 1. Then you come in on cycle day 2 for a check and do your first monitoring, and I had 16 follicles on my right ovary and 8 on my left ovary. So that was a pretty good starting number. I do have PCOS, so my starting follicle count is a little higher than most people's. So we did that started on August 7th, and then we had a follicle check on the 12th, the 15th, the 17th, and the 18th. And finally on the 18th, that's when I was able to trigger, and then 2 days later on the 20th, we had our retrieval. So my medications were Gonal-F, Ganirelix, and a Lupron Trigger because I had, PCOS, and they were concerned about my starting follicle count, and they didn't want me to overstimulate. So I did a full LH trigger. We did that trigger on 8/18. It was good, stims was fine for the most part. Didn't really have any side effects until like the last 5 days. I just kind of got over it. I got over the shots. My ovaries started hurting. Like, it didn't feel comfortable to move around. I was just over it. But that was really the only symptom, I think. I wrote it all down in a journal. I'll have to go check it out. But yeah, symptoms were fine. It wasn't like emotional. I wasn't overly emotional on my FET cycle. I am overly emotional now. It's getting a little real up in here. But yeah, I mean, fine. And my husband liked doing the shots. We did it as a team. You can see my other video where I vlogged everything and I talked about it in the moment, but here's just an overview if you don't want to sit through that video. And yeah, on the August 20th, we did our retrieval. It was rough. I think that's where I ended my last video. I was feeling super, super sick. Thought I was gonna vomit. I had the worst pain. I think I got still mildly overstimulated, but it didn't make it to full-on OHSS, which I'm so thankful for because that pain was ridiculous. It felt like somebody was always sitting on your chest and like you couldn't take a deep breath. I couldn't laugh. I couldn't like swallow too hard, if that makes sense. And I couldn't lay on my right side for some reason. And that's because when your follicles are aspirated like they do in an egg retrieval, sometimes they fill back up with fluid or blood. And since I had so many follicles and normally people would just have one, they all filled back up. So I was feeling super, like I couldn't breathe, right? I couldn't lay on one side because I couldn't breathe when I laid on one side. It was terrible, but that went on for 3 days, and then after that, I was completely fine. I did a lot of protein, I did a lot of electrolytes, I ate a lot of things high in sodium. By the 4th day, I was able to actually, you know, like leave the house, which... Then that next day, we had a fertilization report. So August 20th was a Monday. This is the Tuesday. We had a fertilization report. And we found that they did half ICSI, half conventional IVF, where they just put the sperm in the eggs and just let them do their thing, which I didn't know they were going to do, but whatever. So we found out that day that 14 were fertilized the day before and had continued to grow normally. So I think they were able to fertilize all of the eggs we got, but only like after day 1, there's a pretty high nutrition rate. So 14 out of the 23 made it to day 1. My clinic only does a day 1 fertilization report and like a day 6 report to let you know how many were frozen. So my day 5 and 6 were on the weekend, so I had to wait till that next Monday, which was like day 7, which was torture. But yeah, I did get off the call on the 27th, that next Monday, that all 14 that fertilized and were going normally on day 1 made it to blast, and all 14 were biopsied and sent off to the lab for genetic testing, which is crazy. I never see people with the same amount of fertilization and make it all the way to day 5. Like that was something I didn't even think was possible. I was like, you know, maybe if we get like 5, that'd be good. It was crazy. I was so happy, so happy. But then, you know, I was also benched. And the reason why we also did a frozen transfer was because I technically still wasn't cleared from the molar pregnancy. So I had some more months of monitoring to go. And I had to wait until pretty much now to get started on my FET. So I was kind of annoyed that we had to wait so long, and I was just upset about that. So then we paid the fee for PGS, which at my clinic, they were $150 per embryo, and we had a discussion with my doctor. He was the one that actually did my egg retrieval before. We said that we'd only send like 12 for testing, and since there were 14, we said let's send them all. So for my PGS at my clinic, it was $150 per embryo plus $150, you know, shipment fee. Now we're coming into Labor Day weekend. So then I also had to have a follow-up SHG saline sonogram that I did back in May because they saw a little piece of tissue which was probably left over from my DNC that I had a few months ago. But on the follow-up, everything was perfect and we were all good to go. The next day after Labor Day, we actually got the results of the PGS, and it came back that 11 out of the 14 are normal. So when I say normal, PGS makes sure you have, you know, the proper amount of chromosomes, and they also check for the gender. So that's all they're checking for, nothing more, nothing less. Make sure there's not triploidy or aneuploidy, which is, you know, the incorrect number of chromosomes. So we got that result, and we know the genders. I think we're gonna keep that private for now, but there is a very large skew towards one gender, which is ridiculous. It's like 75% of them are one gender, and then only 25 are the other gender, which is so wild, and it's so crazy to think that we would know that. We could potentially know that like on the day of transfer. So that was all the excitement for my IVF cycle. So it went amazingly well. I was nervous because when I researched IVF cycles, I didn't see many people on the protocol that I was on. nor did was I able to see, you know, how many eggs they got or whatever, what have you from that protocol. So really excited that it worked out. And we were so grateful. And in between all this, I don't know if I've mentioned it here on this channel, but in between the initial consults and right about mid-July, my doctor actually left the practice. So we started seeing her replacement, which was an existing doctor at the practice, and he agreed with everything she said we should go with. And, you know, at that point, we were just kind of like, we're not going to keep we're stopping the show because of one-off things. We're just going to keep going and hopefully be done with this place and not have to see these people anymore. As nice as they are, I just want to be done with this whole shenanigans. My husband changed jobs in between the initial talk and the actual cycle, which was good because this new job had a ton more coverage for IVF. They covered, well, we still had to hit the deductible, and if you start an insurance plan in July, you're not going to have any kind of deductible to start IVF in August. So we did have to pay out of pocket a substantial amount of money, but that's okay. So that was good. But yeah, I'm just so grateful and so thankful that it was very successful from a frozen embryo point of view. And I'm fine and I'm doing good. But yeah, to update, going on right now, we had, you know, we had to order our FET meds, and I'll probably do a separate video on that. Had to order our FET meds. We're in the midst of the cycle, and my frozen transfer is coming up here in the very beginning of November. But yeah, it's in the very beginning of November. I'm doing Lupron. I'm doing a very complex cycle from what I understand. I did the birth control, then I did Lupron shots. I'm still doing Lupron shots, and now I'm on estrogen patches, and soon there'll be progesterone and oil shots, and it's just a lot. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so all in all, this took from May of this year until August to actually get started with IVF, from the initial consults, the initial testings, or the testings required before you start an IVF cycle, all the way through to egg retrieval. That was from mid-May till the full month of August, pretty much. So that's where I'm gonna leave it here. I'll do a separate video about my FET process when that's done, you know, what are the results of that, and when I'm sharing or what have you, I don't know. We'll see what comes up. I haven't been vlogging yet. I don't know, I need to. I needed to charge my battery for the longest, so that's why I haven't filmed this video. But yeah, next time, hopefully I'll be sharing some news that our FET was successful, or if not, I don't know, maybe we'll share what our plans are for my 30th, because I turned 30 in December, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, thank you for watching, and thank you for the support as always. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like this video, leave me a comment, talk to me down in the chat, and I will see you later. Bye.